The one who lost everything but still won. A real-life inspiration. Life is never completely kind to anyone. Sometimes it gives happiness, and sometimes it tests us with pain. But there are a few people who know how to turn every loss into victory, and one of them was Arham. Arham was born into a simple middle-class family. His father was a school teacher, and his mother managed the home. From childhood, Arham was hardworking, intelligent, and determined. He always topped his class, and everyone used to say, "This boy will make something great of his life one day." But life had its own plans. When Arham was in college, his father suffered a sudden heart attack and passed away within 2 days. The loss shattered the entire family. Being the eldest son, Arham suddenly found himself burdened with all responsibilities. His mother was devastated, his younger sister was still in school, and the household income stopped. To keep things going, Arham dropped out of college and started working part-time. He delivered newspapers early in the morning, worked in a photocopy shop during the day, and gave tuitions to kids at night. He barely slept, yet the money was never enough. Life had snatched away all comfort from him, but there was one thing he never lost hope. One night, completely exhausted, Arham sat on the rooftop of his small house and looked up at the sky. The stars seemed far away, almost mocking his pain, but he whispered to himself, "One day, I'll make it. These struggles will become my strength." From that day on, he decided to restart his studies. It wasn't easy. Days were for work, nights for online classes. His schedule was tougher than that of a machine. Many nights he cried silently, missing his father, worrying about his mother and sister. Sometimes he felt broken beyond repair, but something inside him always pushed him to stand back up. Then, one day, Arham heard about freelancing. He didn't even own a proper laptop, just an old phone with a cracked screen and slow internet. Still, he gave it a try. His first project was only worth $5, but he worked on it as if it were worth $1 million. The client loved his dedication and gave him more work. Slowly, bit by bit, Arham started earning enough to buy a secondhand laptop. For him, that laptop wasn't just a device. It was a symbol of his hard-earned hope. A year passed, and Arham became a small but successful freelancer. Things were finally starting to look better until life tested him again. His mother was diagnosed with cancer. The hospital bills, the medicines, the emotional storm, everything hit him at once. Arham spent every penny on her treatment. He took extra projects, worked day and night, prayed endlessly, but destiny had something else written. One evening, his mother held his hand and said in a trembling voice, "My son, never give up. My blessings will always be with you." A few weeks later, she passed away. That night, Arham sat in the dark corner of his room, unable to stop his tears. He had lost his father, now his mother, and he was left with nothing but his younger sister and memories that hurt more than wounds. But even in that pain, something inside him refused to die. He decided to rise again, not just for himself, but for his sister, for his parents, and for every person who had ever believed in him. He continued freelancing, learned new skills, and slowly built his own small design agency. The beginning was tough. He didn't have clients. Many rejected his proposals. Sometimes he doubted himself, wondering if he'd ever make it. But every morning, he reminded himself of his mother's words, "Never give up." Then came the day that changed his life forever. A foreign client noticed his work and offered him a major project. It was a huge opportunity. Arham poured his heart and soul into it, working countless sleepless nights. When the project was finally completed, the client was so impressed that he recommended Arham's agency to many others. That one project became the turning point. Within months, Arham's agency started growing. More clients, more recognition, more confidence. He was no longer just surviving, he was living. He paid for his sister's education and made sure she never had to struggle the way he did. Then, with tears of pride, he founded a charity in his mother's name, the Hope Foundation. Its mission was to help people who had lost everything just like he once had. One day, Arham was invited as a guest speaker at a youth seminar. Standing on the stage, looking at hundreds of faces full of dreams and doubts, he said, "I am a man who once had nothing, no money, no support, no peace. The only thing I had was hope. If you ever lose everything in life, remember this. As long as you don't lose yourself, you can still win. Because the world can only defeat you if you let it." The audience broke into applause. Many had tears in their eyes, not out of sadness, but because they felt something awaken inside them, hope. Arham had lost everything. His parents, his childhood, his comfort, but he had gained something much greater: courage, purpose, and compassion. Today, Arham is not only a successful entrepreneur, but also a motivational speaker who inspires thousands of people worldwide. Every time he takes the stage, he silently remembers his mother's words, "Blessings are stronger than destiny." Once, he used to deliver newspapers at other people's doors. Now, his own name appears in the newspapers not for fame, but for the difference he makes in people's lives. Once, people pitied him as that poor boy. Now, they respect him as the man who never gave up. He lost everything, yet he won the world. And when people ask him how he managed to survive so much pain, he simply smiles and says, "I didn't survive because I was strong. I survived because I never stopped believing that one day the pain would become my power." Arham's story is not just a story. It's a living example for everyone who feels like their life is over. It's proof that sometimes losing everything is just the beginning of a new chapter. Because those who lose everything and still choose to fight, they are the ones who truly win. As Arham often says, when life gets darkest, remember, even the sun has to go down before it rises again. Life took everything from him, yet it gave him something priceless: hope. And that's why the world remembers him not for his pain, but for his strength. He is and will always be the one who lost everything, but still won.